Bank humiliated black girl trying to deposit money, turns pale upon learning her father is the bank owner. Where are you watching from? Type your city in the comments. You might just get a shout out in the next video. Hit like and subscribe for some good luck today. It began on a hot Thursday afternoon, the kind of day when the air feels heavy with impatience. The glass doors of Crestwood National Bank swung open, and in walked a teenage girl, no more than 16. Her name was Amara Johnson. She wasn't dressed in pearls or pressed suits like many of the bank's usual clientele, but she carried herself with quiet confidence. She wore a crisp white shirt under a soft pink suit jacket, her hair neatly packed at the back of her head. On her shoulders hung a modest school bag, slightly worn from daily use, a clear sign that she had come straight from her classes. In her small hands, she clutched a thick brown envelope stuffed with cash. As she walked toward the counter, heads turned. Not because of her presence, but because of what she carried. To them, she didn't look like someone who belonged in a bank, let alone someone with that kind of money. The teller at the counter, a young woman named Stacy, narrowed her eyes as Amara approached. Stacy had always been quick to judge, and she sized Amara up with a smirk that could cut glass. "Yes. Can I help you?" she asked, her tone laced with something that sounded more like suspicion than courtesy. Amara placed the envelope on the counter. "Yes, I'd like to make a deposit." Stacy raised an eyebrow and tapped her manicured nails against the marble surface. "A deposit, huh? And how much are we talking about here?" Amara slid the envelope closer. $5,000. The lobby grew quieter. A couple of businessmen waiting in line turned to glance, and even the security guard near the door lifted his head. Stacy's eyes widened, then narrowed again. She pulled the envelope closer, peeked inside, and saw crisp $100 bills stacked neatly. Her lips curled into a smirk. "Where exactly did you get this kind of money?" Amara blinked, taken aback. "Excuse me?" "I asked," Stacy said, louder this time so others could hear, "where a girl like you got this money. We have rules about fraud, you know. We don't just take anyone's word." A flush crept up Amara's cheeks. "It's my money. I want to put it in my account." "Oh, you have an account with us?" Stacy asked mockingly. She tapped a few keys on her computer. "What's the account number? Or maybe you just thought you could walk in off the street and drop off cash you found under someone's mattress." Snickers rippled through the line behind Amara. An older woman shook her head as if to say, "Kids these days." Amara stood taller, adjusting the strap of her school bag as her pink jacket shifted. "My account number is 4729, she recited it confidently. Stacy typed it in, her smirk deepening. So you do have an account. Still, this much cash, it doesn't look right. You understand why I can't just take this, right? I'm going to have to report this for suspicious activity." "You can't do that," Amara said firmly. "That's my savings. I earned that money tutoring and helping my neighbors. Every dollar in that envelope is mine." But Stacy didn't budge. Instead, she raised her voice again. "Security." The guard walked over, tall and broad, his expression unreadable. "Everything okay here?" Stacy pointed at Amara. "This young lady is trying to make a questionable deposit. I think we should have her wait while I call the manager." Amara felt the stares burning into her. Murmurs spread through the lobby. Was it stolen? Was she lying? The humiliation rose in her chest like fire. "Call whoever you need to," Amara said through clenched teeth. "I'll wait." Minutes later, a middle-aged man in a navy suit appeared from the glass office upstairs. Mr. Collins, the branch manager, descended the stairs briskly, his face stern. "What seems to be the issue here?" he asked. Stacy quickly launched into her version of events. "She came in with a large amount of cash, sir. Very suspicious. I was just trying to protect the bank." Mr. Collins turned his sharp eyes on Amara. "Miss, is this true? You brought in $5,000 to deposit?" "Yes, sir." Amara's voice was steady. "It's mine. And where did you get this money?" Amara's lips trembled, but her gaze didn't falter. "I already told her. I earned it. Every cent." The manager exhaled, shaking his head. "Do you have any proof? Receipts, income records?" "No," Amara said softly, clutching the straps of her school bag tighter. "Then I'm afraid we can't accept this deposit at this time," Mr. Collins declared. "For your own good, I'd suggest leaving with your funds before things get more complicated." Her throat tightened. For the first time, Amara felt tears sting her eyes. She had been saving for months. Every tutoring session, every odd job, every babysitting gig in her neighborhood had gone into that envelope. And now, in front of strangers, she was being treated like a criminal. But she refused to let them see her break. She picked up the envelope, adjusted her pink jacket, turned on her heel, and walked toward the door. The whispers followed her out. That night, Amara sat at the dinner table, unusually quiet. Her father, Robert Johnson, a tall man with silver at his temples, noticed immediately. "What happened, sweetheart?" he asked. She hesitated. "Dad, I went to deposit my savings today." He smiled. "That's wonderful. How much did you manage to save up?" "5,000, she whispered. His eyes widened with pride. 5,000. That's incredible, Amara. So what's wrong?" Her hands trembled as she recounted everything. The stares, the accusations, the humiliation. Her father's expression darkened with every word, his jaw tightening, his fist clenching around his fork. When she finished, he sat in silence for a long moment. Then he leaned back, his voice low and measured. "They humiliated you like that?" She nodded. "Tomorrow," he said finally, "we're going back together." The next morning, Crestwood National Bank bustled as usual. Stacy was at her station again, her smirk firmly in place. When the doors opened, she glanced up and nearly laughed out loud. There was that girl again, this time walking with an older man in a plain suit. Amara still had her pink jacket on, her school bag hanging from her shoulders, but this time her chin was lifted higher. Back again. Stacy mocked. Didn't we already explain how this works? But then something strange happened. The security guard suddenly straightened, recognizing the man. The employees at the back desk froze, their whispers cutting off mid-sentence. Stacy frowned. What's going on? Mr. Collins, the manager, appeared from his office, and when his eyes landed on Robert Johnson, his face drained of color. Mr. Johnson! Collins exclaimed, rushing forward. We weren't expecting you today, sir. Stacy blinked. Wait, you know him? Collins shot her a glare that could kill. Of course I know him. He's the owner of Crestwood National Bank. The words echoed like thunder through the marble lobby. Gasps filled the air. The businessmen, the customers in line, even the guard, they all turned to stare at the man standing calmly beside the girl in the pink jacket they had just mocked. Amara looked at her father, her head held high now. Robert's voice boomed, calm but sharp as a blade. Yesterday, my daughter came here to deposit her hard-earned money. Instead of being treated with respect, she was humiliated, accused, and nearly escorted out by security. Is this how you treat customers in my bank? Collins stammered. I wasn't aware she was your daughter, sir. That's the problem, Robert snapped. You don't need to know someone's last name to treat them with dignity. Every customer deserves respect. Every single one. Stacy's face turned pale, her smirk long gone. She opened her mouth to defend herself, but Robert cut her off with a wave of his hand. You humiliated my daughter in front of everyone. You questioned her integrity without cause. And you, he turned to Collins, failed as a leader. Instead of standing up for her, you dismissed her. Both of you are done here. The silence in the bank was deafening. Stacy's knees buckled. Please, sir, I didn't know. That's exactly the point, Robert said firmly. You don't need to know someone's background to treat them with respect. You just need decency. Security escorted Stacy and Collins out, their faces pale with shock. Then Robert turned to Amara, handing her the envelope back. Go ahead, sweetheart. Make your deposit. With steady hands, Amara walked up to a new teller, who treated her with the utmost respect, taking her savings and entering them into the system. As she received her receipt, Robert placed an arm around her shoulders, his hand brushing lightly against the strap of her school bag. Never let anyone make you feel small, Amara, he said softly. Respect isn't earned by money or power, it's something every human being deserves. The entire lobby erupted in quiet applause, not just for the owner's words, but for the courage of the girl who had stood tall in the face of humiliation. And that day, everyone in Crestwood National Bank learned a lesson they'd never forget. Dignity is priceless. And when you strip someone of it, you strip yourself of humanity.